Were you a home buyer during the crazy COVID housing market and you just couldn't get a home? Or you did buy a home and you feel like you were cheated? Well, hey, check this out. According to Realtor.com, right now may be the best time for home buyers in 5 years. We're going to be going over the article, so stay tuned for this one. Hey guys, President of XP Realty, part of the Johnson Group here in beautiful Savannah, Georgia. And I want to say welcome to my channel where we go over the Savannah area real estate stats. We talk about how to buy a home, how to sell a home, and new construction in the area. And if you're into that kind of stuff, you should like, share, subscribe, share this video with your family and friends that may be into the same kind of thing. You never know who's looking to buy or sell a home until you share them a video like this. Anyway, thank you so much. I appreciate you for giving me this great information. So thank you guys for coming. I really appreciate it. We'll be going over this article right here. I'm going to show it to you real quick. Right now may be the best time for home buyers in 5 years. This is from Realtor.com. Julie Taylor, she wrote this in November 18th. So we're going to be going through this and we'll read it and then we're going to kind of react. Okay, I'm going to show you how it relates to the numbers in the Savannah market. So if you've been holding off on buying a home, the waning weeks of 2024 might be your moment. Rising home prices, scarce housing stock, and relentless mortgage rates have made it tough in the real estate market. But now the tide is turning, and the end of the year is turning into the most buyer-friendly market we've seen in a long time. 5 years to be exact, before the COVID-19 pandemic turned the real estate market into a wild roller coaster ride that came to an abrupt halt when mortgage rates doubled. Oh my goodness. If you were in the market during the pandemic craziness, you know we're waiving all kinds of contingencies. If you're not familiar with those, I have videos on that. We were waiving appraisal contingencies. We were bidding $50,000 over asking price, just trying to beat everybody. And it was nuts. You know, I had to do some things I would have never normally told my clients to do, to overbid for these houses. But at the time, that was what was demanded if you wanted to get a home. And you know, if you were in that market, if you bought during that time, you may be feeling like, oh my God, I got robbed. I promise you probably weren't, but it's going to take you a while to build up your equity back into the home. But still, like, it was crazy times. It's kind of shifting a little bit. I wanted to show you real quick what they're talking about. So, you know, I think a lot of people don't realize the reason why people are struggling with these mortgage rates that they're going on right now, which right now, if you're not familiar with what the mortgage rates are now, they're at 7.30 or 03, excuse me, for a conventional, 6.45 for FHA, 6.47 for VA loan, right? But here's another thing it would show you. Rates were below 5% from May 6, 2010, all the way up to March 31st of 2022. Okay, so rates were held low for so long that people were like, oh my gosh, I don't want to buy a home at 8%, kind of halting people from buying a home. And just to show you real quick of the prices, what happened to the prices of homes during that time, which I think if you watch this, you know. I'm just going to look from April of 2017, okay? If you look here, April 2017, home prices in Savannah was 206. Now, let's go average, sorry. The average price in Savannah in April of 2017, $248,000. In Savannah, right now, $499. In Pooler is $217. Now it's $383. In Richmond Hill, $240 in 2017. Now it's $483. So, you know, man, housing prices exploding. Even you're talking about year over year, you see this, the price is still gone on 8.3, down in Pooler by 14% and up by 10% in Richmond Hill. So the prices have really skyrocketed. And that's why a lot of people are like, man, I wish I would have bought, you know, during those old times. Listen, home prices are going to still rise. Our area is growing a lot. You know, we talk about Port Wentworth, which where I live. They're building the the Ghost Pirates practice facility. They're bringing in restaurants. They're trying to beautify the area. Then it's going to move to Rincon. Pooler is still growing. So there's a lot of growth going on. So home prices are going to still rise. So you need to keep an eye out on that. But yeah, now might be the time to get into the market. Here's what they say in Realtor.com. The housing stock is way up. The level of housing stock is one of the biggest indicators of the kind of housing market buyers and sellers are in. And now buyers have more housing choices than they had since 2019. In our area is 2020. We'll show you that. There's roughly 4.3 months of inventory on the market. What that means when they say months of inventory, the 4.3 months. What they're saying is if no other homes come to the market as of right now, it would take 4.3 months to sell all the homes that are existing on the market. And that has to do with days in the market and all that kind of stuff. And we'll kind of show you that. This is the longest stint of 4+ month supply and inventory in 5 years, says Hannah Jones from Realtor.com. There's a huge shift from the conditions buyers were faced recently. And while it is true the number of homes on the market is due in part to slower sales activity, there are plenty of fresh listings to choose from. In fact, new listings rose by 4.9% from the previous year. Now we're going to compare that to the Savannah market. So let's talk about the months of inventory first. 4.3 months across the country right now. Where do we stack up with months of supply? In Savannah, 4.1 months of supply, up by 41%. In Pooler, 2.6 months of supply, up by 13%. And in Richmond Hill, 4 months of supply, up by 81%, almost 82%, as you can see. And those numbers, right, are consistent with what they, except for Pooler. And I'm going to show you the reason why. They have a lot less homes on the market right now, as you can see, 187 than the other two markets. So kind of the reason why they have such a low months of supply right there. Excuse me. So now let's see, it's been the longest since in 4 years, and you're talking about months of inventory. Just look at it for a second. Oops. There we go. All right, now we're talking about this one. So months of supply, as you can see during the pandemic craziness, this was the homes, this was the months of supply. You know what I'm saying? I came in to real estate around this time, where it's 5.6, 5.9, 7.6 months on the market. That is really close to a buyer's market. In Richmond Hill, according to this, right, 7.6 months, that is considered a buyer's market. Anything above 6 months is considered a buyer's market. Anything below 6 months is a seller's market. If it's at the 6 month mark, then it's an even market, okay? All right, what else did they say here? They were talking about this huge shift. And in fact, new listings rose by 4.9%. So let's check that out real quick. All right, new listings. All right, homes on for sale, right? Gone up in Savannah by 35%, almost 36%. Pooler by almost 11%. In Richmond Hill, 65 days or 65% rise in homes on the market. Let's look at new listings. Up by 15% almost. Down in Pooler by almost 27%. In Richmond Hill, up by 37%. So, yeah, there's new homes coming to the market, all right? So it's rising year after year. We are way above the new listing mark that is across the nation in our areas, except for Pooler's way down, okay? So, what else did they say? All right, why more housing stock matters, okay? More homes for sale indicates a basic economic principle of supply and demand, which buying a home, I would tell you, is supply and demand up and down 101. It's completely true with homes on the market. Supply and demand is the factor, okay? For the past few years, there haven't been as many homes on the market to meet the pent-up desire for a housing stock. Those days are over, says real estate professional Bruce Alton, I think that's from Remax. For years, buyers have complained there's no selection. Inventory is so slim that multiple offers above list price is the only way you can get a home. And too often, they had to compromise on what they wanted. When inventory rises, buyers gain an incredible advantage, okay? More homes on the market mean more choices, which is a crucial for finding the right property with the features and amenities that you want. Okay, a family that Mike Wall from eXp Realty, a family he recently worked with, was with a specific wish list, including large backyard for the kids, home office, and finished basement. In the entire market, they would have had to compromise. Okay, one or more of these features, but with today's higher inventory market, they were able to tour multiple homes that met their criteria. Okay, ultimately, they landed a property that checked every box. So now, home buyers understand, right? They have options. Okay, there's more than just one of those perfect homes on the market now. Now there's more, and not to mention, new construction is kind of filling that gap. Okay. The big thing that new construction offers that a lot of resale homes can't offer, and we'll talk about this a little bit later with resale homes that can be done, but new construction homes, like we're talking about Landmark 24, talking about Lennar, we're talking about DR Horton, all these builders around here, they're offering incentives on interest rates to like down to 4.49 in some cases, 4.99%. And let's look at that real quick. What does that mean when you are talking about today's mortgage rates versus what the new construction people can offer? So check this out, all right? Today's mortgage rates, and now this is with 20% down, great credit and averaged across the country. If you want your true interest rate, what you would get, then call a lender. If you don't have a lender, I can get you a lender, good to go. But today, conventional, right now, 30-year fixed, 7.03, FHA, 6.45, VA, 6.47. What does that mean for your monthly payments? You were probably asking yourself. Let me show you. Okay. Now, the average home sales price, let's just see here. Average price, we'll go median price because the average price is a little crazy. Average, or the median home sales price in Savannah, $375. So let's just use that number, $375. Okay. With 20% down, if you're doing conventional, and that would, if you did 20% down, that would eliminate PMI payments. So that also lowers your payment. If you do under 20% on a conventional, then you're gonna have to pay PMI. Same thing with FHA, and VA, you don't have PMI. Okay, but here's your payment on $375,000 loan, the home median home sales price with $75,000 down, a $300,000 mortgage at 7%. You're looking at $2,400. Actually, let me change these taxes real quick. Or home insurance and taxes. And these are the high side. I like to go high side because I don't like buyers to be think that they're going to be paying $2,400 a month and end up being $2,600 a month. It's insane. So I like to go a little bit high. Okay, but here we go. And this is, of course, like I said, you need a lender if you want to know your true monthly payment. Okay, but for this specific example, at 7.03% interest rate, okay, you're getting $2,635 a month. If we brought this down to if we went to DR Horton or something like that to get their specialized interest rate, which has to be a government loan, so we'll just go with a VA loan because we got a lot of VA buyers here. Okay, so we're going to say 0% down because VA buyers don't require put any down payment down. Okay, they still have to cover closing costs, so don't forget about that. Okay, but if we did their 4.99, $375,000 on that, $2,644. If you went to the market rate, which is 6.47, look at that. Okay, right now, 2644. Look, okay, enter. This is the difference between the market versus new construction. $300 difference in your payment. And look, almost $3,000 a month for a $375,000 home if you're getting a VA loan. So it's something you should keep in mind. So that's what the rates are going right now. And new construction is trying to compete with the resale homes. So that's another factor home sellers need to understand that, hey, there are new construction guys out there that are paying down the rates for the buyers, and you can do the same if you are a home seller, if you want to compete. Okay, now let's go on with the article. More housing stock means an increase in price cuts. Okay, the rise in housing stock puts pressure on sellers to cut prices to to make themselves different in a crowded market. The median home sales price in October dropped from 424,950. That's across the nation. And with an increased number of homes available, sellers are having to lower prices even further to stay competitive. The percentage of homes with price reductions 18.6%, says Realtor senior economist Ralph McLaughlin. And he says it's what's more, the overall share of inventory with price cuts is 2.2% higher than the shares seen between October of 17 to 19. Okay. Wall recently worked with a buyer who is watching a home for weeks. Actually, I'm gonna hold off on that. Let me go back and let me just talk about this median home, or the median home sales prices you saw, and I wanted to show you again the price drops real quick in our area. As you can see here, this is our what we use as realtors in the Savannah area. Right there, you see 279 homes have dropped their prices in the past 7 days. Okay, yesterday when I look at this, 306 homes. It's almost 17%. So we're not on the same level as the national average of home dropping at 18.6%. We are about 17%, but we're still close. Okay, and Wall recently worked with a buyer who had been watching a home for weeks. Okay, the price was initially set too high, which you often see that with resale homes because a lot of them are still thinking that it's COVID times. Okay, as a result, the property didn't receive much interest, he says. After 2 price cuts totaling nearly 10%, his client swooped in and made an offer below asking price, which the seller accepted without hesitation. All right, the seller even agreed to cover part of the closing costs, a clear sign of their motivation. Along with closing costs, other things sellers might be flexible on include point buy down, which I was talking about. You can pay to have your buyer's interest rate brought down if you want to, as a seller, to help people. Hey, they're going to pay down the interest rate. Let me go see that house. Or seller credits for repairs or upgrades or rent backs, all kinds of stuff that sellers or buyers are looking for when they're trying to buy a home. You can offer that as a seller, and that's what a lot of times is what's happening. I'm going to give you an example. I'm working with buyers. They are coming down here from Colorado. They're going to be working for the United States Army, and they're waiting for their firm offer letter. We found a home about a month ago that they loved. Okay, well, we took us a while to get the firm offer letter. Well, when they got it, the home was still on the market, and the price had dropped. But not only that, we were able to negotiate $7,000 off the asking price and $7,500 in closing costs. So sellers are starting to move a little bit more. So remember, it is negotiating time, and that's kind of what the whole point they're trying to get at as this article is that there's room for negotiations. Okay, and home prices are coming down. All right, let's see. And then, okay, buyers have time to make offers. In addition to higher housing stock, there are other buyer-friendly market trends. Now is the slowest season market in 5 years, according to Realtor.com. The market is moving at a snail's pace, with homes spending 58 days on the market in October, the slowest October since 2019. A week more to shop for homes eases buyers' pressure to make quick decisions. I'm going to kind of show you that real quick, days on the market for us. Okay, so when we talk about days on the market, how do we fare? They said 58 days on the market. We are at, if we look in Savannah, the average, Savannah's 57 days on the market. Pool is 52 days on the market. Richmond Hill's 58 days on the market. Okay, so we are on par with the average across the country. Okay, Andrew Fortune, who runs a real estate brokerage in Colorado, had a recent client who had been burned during the frenzy of the 2020 to 2022 market, losing out on cash buyers. And that's a lot of times happens in our market because the cost of living here is so good. People selling their homes in the north, coming down here with tons of cash, is really making it hard on buyers that live here. Okay, the people that are moving here are able to outbid them. Okay, this time around, they were able to revisit a home multiple times, bring in contractors to check for potential upgrades, and even negotiate repairs, all because the seller was willing to wait for a solid offer. And you're seeing that more and more now. Okay, so in conclusion, on the brink of a buyer's market, and just to give this is what they're saying, while the data does not justify a true buyer's market and what a buyer's market would be, And actually, I'm just going to show you. Okay. When you're looking at the months of supply, if it is over 6 months, it's a buyer's market. If it's under 6 months, it's a seller's market. So that's what they're talking about, okay? And then we saw in our area, it's not quite that 6 month mark yet, right? We're not quite there yet, but we're trending towards that way. Once we get to that point, and like when I came in, like I was trying to say, we were in a balanced market, okay? But right now, we're not quite there yet, but it's feeling more that way, okay? According to Jones, it does suggest the market is balanced. This means that buyers are in a better position than they have been in years. If sellers' activity continues to exceed buyer activity, the housing stock continues to build, the market might finally start to lean more towards a buyer's market, which would be music to home buyers' ears. So, according to Realtor.com and according to the stats that we just saw, we are mirroring what they're saying. So we're starting to see, like I think I've said this before, if you watch my other videos, it's starting to lean towards buyers because sellers still want to sell the home fast. Now, if the sellers start to accept that the home is going to be on the market for a couple of months, then maybe that will stop them from dropping their prices. But as long as sellers want to leave fast, they're conditioned to sell their home in no time. It puts a lot of pressure to reduce the prices on the sellers so they can get out of there fast. But I want to thank you guys for watching. If you're watching this point, if you got any value from this video, do me a favor, like, share, subscribe. It really helps me out, and I really appreciate it. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye.